welcome back to another episode of Super Kaioken. I am your host, X12, back with another episode. Yes, it's finally back, the official Dragon Ball podcast of the X12 channel, and I know it's been a while since I've done an episode of this show, or podcast, if you will. I actually discussed this in my previous episode of the X12 Effect podcast that it's just been very difficult for me to really get like a good hour of my day to just discuss whatever I want, whether it be personal stories or Dragon Ball stories or anime stories or movie stories, just stuff like that. So it's been very difficult to do so. So I feel like the best way to approach these podcasts is to have at least a good episode or two every month. And that's pretty much the way I'm going to go with these podcast shows. And ironically enough, one of the main reasons as to why it's been longer to get an episode of this podcast up on my channel for a good while now is mostly due to the fact that I've been so depressed in my personal life and I have no time. But on top of that, I actually recorded an episode of this podcast in my previously, like a good month ago. I actually recorded an episode, and I talked to Paul about this, how stupid I am about not uploading that file onto my computer hard drive so I can edit it later like I usually do. Unfortunately, like a dunce, I accidentally deleted and trashed the file that I had before getting it into my hard drive. So it was pretty much wiped out, and I was so depressed about that because it was a pretty good episode. I talked at length for like almost 2 hours discussing a whole bunch of really cool stories. I got really deep into the Ghost in the Shell debacle before it became a big controversy. There was just so much shit going on at that time, and I got it down into a 2-hour pod, and I really wanted to upload it. Unfortunately, it's gone, and I can't really do anything about it, so I decided just, fuck it. I'm just gonna not deal with it for a while, and that's why it took so long to really get a new episode of this podcast. So overall, I hope you guys enjoyed this rendition of the episode. I'm gonna try and make it feel different than my previous episode that I did not get to edit and upload, so we'll see what happens overall. But let me get into some very interesting stuff. There's a lot of stuff to talk about, not only with Dragon Ball, with anime in general. There's a lot of really cool stuff going on, but let's get into it. Number one, the story that I really want to go off on is the fan base of Dragon Ball. That's a major topic that I've been wanting to discuss and hear some thoughts on, which is, what is the future of the Dragon Ball fan base, and how long is it going to maintain its popularity? Dragon Ball is an awesome series and franchise. I love it. It's very near and dear to my heart. It's the apex. It's the number one thing I love more than anything else in the world, other than food and obviously living and relationships with other people. That's number one for me. Everything else below that is just inferior in comparison. They're amazing. Like, I love Star Wars. I love DC and Marvel superhero stuff. Like, I love a whole bunch of different TV shows and movies, but Dragon Ball, number one. Number one on my book. And I've made that very clear, and it's obviously made some very specific friends and also enemies on not only my personal life, but of course on YouTube, just discussing and having that kind of opinion. But regardless of any of that, my thing is that I really got into my previous episode that did not get uploaded, that I want to get into this one, which is, how long is the popularity going to last? And also on top of that, what's the next generation of fans going to be like? And are there going to be any new fans? And I had an epiphany, if you will, of seeing these new fans. I went to Barnes & Noble, and I know I ranted about Barnes & Noble previously in one of my rants, my last vlog rant that I put out, like, I want to say a couple months ago or something. Ironically enough, I shitted on Barnes & Noble, but I did it when it was my first time going there in such a long while, so it was my first reaction to it. I feel like the kids from South Park who had to deal with Walmart when the Walmart episode came out, and it was just crazy hectic for them. And it's like, Walmart's taking over our freaking town. What's happening here? That's kind of how I feel. It's like Barnes & Noble just came into my life, and now I'm obsessed with it ever since. I hated it at first, but now I'm like obsessed. That's kind of just where I am with this whole factor. But regardless of that, I went to Barnes & Noble, and in Barnes & Noble, they have a lot of really cool Dragon Ball Z, like, I don't want to say memorabilia, but like merchandising. So there's like toys and figures and SH figure arts and Banpresto statues and, you know, pops, Funko Pops, and just lots of different kind of toys and figurines and statues that are Dragon Ball Z related. But of course, seeing as how Barnes & Noble is a bookstore at the end of the day, it does have the manga, and they have a great shelf filled with selections of Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z manga, like the Vizbigs and the omnibuses and the full colors, which I highly recommend getting because they're freaking phenomenal. However, I already have all the Dragon Ball Z manga and Dragon Ball manga, so I don't really have a necessity to really, you know, go and read the Dragon Ball. But I do at the end of the day, because I am a freaking Dragon Ball bitch. I'm a nerd. I'm such a douche. So whenever there's any kind of Dragon Ball anything related in my perimeter, I have to go and search it out, look at it, and just be involved with it for like the next 2 hours. So that's just who I am, and that's how I react to this kind of stuff. So I'm hanging out at the Barnes & Noble manga section, specifically in the Dragon Ball shelf, looking up stuff, reading some stuff, looking at it just in general, just as a passerby. And there's kids just walking around checking out manga. They're walking around checking out books, graphic novels, comics, all that kind of stuff. And that's cool. But they pass by the Dragon Ball shelf, and I always feel weird, like as a fan, or as like an older man fan. I'm not that old, but like as a male old man fan, as I like to call myself, looking at this shit and then having other people come by, I always feel kind of, not really ashamed, but kind of like, I don't want anybody looking at me doing this, so I kind of just look away or maybe move around, and I watch, like, how do other people react to the thing I love and really like, are they going to goof on it, or do they like it too? Like, that's my thought process, because I'm an insecure douche. So I'm just standing there, and some kids are just, and this happens multiple times, and ever since this happened, since I've consistently gone to this place, this store, there's kids who fucking pass by the Dragon Ball section, the Dragon Ball shelf, and love it. They fucking grab the books like it's like the Willy Wonka sequence in the Charlie in the Chocolate Factory movie, where fucking kids are just grabbing chocolate bars like fucking it's insanity. It's fucking insanity. They do the same thing with Dragon Ball books, and I was like, my mind exploded. I was like, holy shit, this is a thing. Kids that are growing up today, this new generation of kids actually like this shit, and they fucking are grabbing it, liking it. They're like, oh cool, this is when Goku does this. Awesome, this is that. That's, you know, they're fucking so amped and pumped and love this shit, and it shocked me. It literally shocked me. I had my jaw dropped. I was like, oh my god, how is this possible? Kids they know a thing or two. I didn't know this shit. I mean, granted, there's Dragon Ball Z Kai, but like, I don't know if Dragon Ball Z Kai has the same impact for kids today, the same way the original, I guess you could say, Ocean dub and or Funimation dub had for me back in the late 90s and early 2000s. I don't know. I'm not a little kid living in 2016. I don't fucking know these things. So it was a really good shocker for me to really see these kids love this thing that I loved back when I was their age, and it's freaking phenomenal, and it was a really cool moment, and it's happened consistently a lot. Like, kids love this shit. Of course they love other things too, I'm not going to deny that. They love a lot of other cool, really interesting things, like Fairy Tail and like very much Fairy Tail. Kids love fucking Fairy Tail for some reason. I don't know. It's a good manga, and it's a good anime. I'm not going to trash it here, but they just fucking love it. But Dragon Ball, they talk about it out loud like it's fucking the greatest thing ever, and it's freaking phenomenal. I think it's just freaking phenomenal. And I feel like I can be secure with the idea that, you know, regardless of what happens, regardless of like how the franchise moves on from here beyond Super and like whatever the hell else Toy Animation plans on doing in the inevitable future once like maybe Toriyama passes sadly and when everyone kind of just forgets over Japan and everyone's just obsessed with One Piece because let's face it they made fucking ships of the fuck and there's still going to be generations of kids who are going to grow up with this shit and love it as much as we did when we were their age. And it's really cool and awesome. And I always think about that kind of stuff because it's like you go on YouTube and you have your geekdoms, you have your fucking rhyme styles and all those kind of fuckers, and they're cool and awesome in their own way, and they support Dragon Ball and they talk about Dragon Ball specifically like video games and shit like that, and that's cool and all. But the kids, that's where it's at, because they're the ones who are gonna fucking grow up and come up in the ranks, if you will, in a matter of speaking, and they're gonna support this shit when we're fucking old ass 60-year-old, 80-year-old fuckers who are about to die. You know, they're the newbies. They're the newbies, and we have to guide them and put them. But not me. I'm not gonna do that because I'm not a pederast, and I don't want kids near me when I'm reading my manga and specifically my Dragon Ball. Regardless of that, it was still pretty cool to see that and witness it with my own fucking eyes and know that, shit, this is a reality. This is fucking cool. This is fucking awesome. So that's kind of like the main topic, main story, if you will, that I really wanted to get into. And I just wanted to say that because it's just, you never know how the longevity of a freaking property is ever going to be like. Because it can end tomorrow. It can end tomorrow. Like, the popularity can wane. You know, it could end. There's always the possibility of something failing and ending and not being supported by anybody. But knowing that something that was really big and then kind of just ended abruptly and then got big again in another region of the world and has been consistently big, and then went away again, and now has another uprising of popularity and is big again. You know, it's just that I don't know other franchises. Maybe I don't know. There's just so many little franchises that can do that popularity-wise, and Dragon Ball is one of them. And it's just fucking cool. It's fucking awesome. What are you gonna do? At the end of the day, let's try and move off of that and get into some other interesting topics. That's not, that related to children, because I feel like such a douchebag talking about it. But regardless of any of that, Dragon Ball Super. Let's get into some Dragon Ball Super stuff. We've finished off with the Champa Universe 6 tournament arc, and I can honestly say that I'm a pretty big fan of it. I really enjoyed myself all the way through with this new arc. It was freaking phenomenal. Yes, there were some times where, goddamn, the animation artwork sucked a big fat one. I don't know why Toy Animation continues to play with us with this shit animation artwork thing. However, and I've gotten some people talking to me about this whole, like, how the animation or how the style and look of Super has really made them not care about the show. I feel like when it comes to this kind of franchise, specifically now, you have to look through that and just go right to the story. The story is where it's at, and I feel like this arc really proves that, because Battle of Gods and Resurrection F sagas, they weren't amazing. I'm not gonna lie, they weren't amazing. Battle of Gods was okay, it was pretty cool. It was the return of Dragon Ball on anime. It was fucking great. It was really cool to see that. Resurrection F, I really didn't like. I don't think it was that good. I still feel like what they should have done was just make the movie, like, this is how they should have done. Just, they want to do Dragon Ball Super, okay, that's the show. Here's what you do. You get Yo, Son Goku and Friends return, and then you get Battle of Gods, and you have Resurrection F, and you do a back-to-back-to-back premiere of that as your show. You know how amazing that would be on TV? I don't know how TV networks work over in Japan versus here in the States. I don't know in the eastern regions how it works over there, but I know over here, we would love that shit if that fucking happened. You open up with Yo-Sun, that's a good filler moment to get from point, A, which is the end of Z, to point B, which is Champa Universe 6 arc. You put that in between. And I feel like that would have been a superior move instead of recapping the movies and completely changing the canon and kind of just morphing things and just trying to support your own, new plot and series. I just feel like it was just a bad move. However, with that being said, Champa Universe 6 tournament arc saga was fucking awesome. It was a really good one. It was fun. It was entertaining. It was badass. And I freaking loved the saga. I really am looking forward to what's coming up next. There's a lot of rumors out there. I haven't really got into too deep of spoiler territory with the future episodes summaries. Although there's just a lot of topics out there. There's a lot of talk about future Super Saiyan transformations, past characters coming back. There's a lot of new villains that we could see. There's this Universe 12 tournament that could happen in a nearby future. So there's a lot of really cool things that can happen with Super now that we're done with the first arc of Universe 6 of Super. So I'm stoked. I can't wait to see this. I feel like at this point in time, the number one thing I can't wait to see is old characters returning. That's what I really want to see, because there's been talks about like, oh, is Future Trunks going to come back? I don't know. If Future Trunks does come back, that would be phenomenal. I love the character of Future Trunks. He's one of my faves, and he was the main thing that really made me not like the Boo saga that much, because he wasn't a part of it. Future Trunks was just epic and awesome. So, at the end of the day, not having him a part of the show kind of feels like a disservice. Unless they age up Trunks like really quick in the next freaking couple episodes with Goten, which I don't see that happen. I feel like they're going to be kids until like the end of Super, which would be kind of lame, considering that we're supposed to be, Super is supposed to be just one giant filler for like the in-between sections of the Kid Buu battle and of course the finale of Z. So I don't know. There's a lot of things that are up in the air, but Future Trunks coming back would be awesome. Secondly, Arale coming back from Dr. Slump to Dragon Ball, that would be freaking phenomenal. I think she's going to be coming back in one of the future episodes that are coming up. I want to say it has to be maybe episode 43 or 44 or something like that. She's going to be coming back, and I'm really excited for that. I've heard some mixed feelings about that. Some people are like, nah, I don't like her. I don't care about Dr. Slump that much. I'm a big Dr. Slump fan. I really enjoyed that. I'm just a giant fan of Toriyama's work in general. But Dr. Slump was awesome. And her crossover with Dragon Ball during the Red Ribbon Army arc was awesome. I thought it was really badass and fun. And if they do that again with Super, I think that would be just completely phenomenal. However, is she going to be different? That's the thing I want to know. Is she going to, design-wise, is she still going to be like this little cyborg kid? Or will she be grown up? Will she have a design of like an older lady? And how are people going to react? What kind of freaking story could you have with her? These are the questions I want to know. Granted, there's this talk about like Gohan gonna be a part of it and all these really crazy things, in Pan, and I don't know. All I do know is that Arale's coming. I want to see that. That's the main thing I want to see. So I don't know. People can be pissed about Arale coming back and not being a fan of Dr. Slump and all that kind of stuff. For me, Dr. Slump is where it's at. I mean, like, it was just an amazing work of Toriyama before Dragon Ball was a thing, and she's going to have another crossover Dragon Ball after many years since the Red Ribbon Army arc. I'm all for it, so we'll see what happens on that front. And of course, there's just so much things that are happening over the horizon with Super in general. It's just really good to be a fan. I feel like people who have made their opinion outspoken very publicly, not only to just in general and on YouTube, but to me as well, I feel like you left, that's okay. You wanted to leave, you don't want to be a part of this, you don't care about the seeing Battle of Gods or Resurrection F again. I get it. I completely agree with you. However, you need to sign up now. You need to check out the shit that's happening now. I mean, like, Super is so fun and entertaining at this point in time. It's definitely my favorite show to watch of 2016. Hands down. Last year, it's one thing, but this year, 2016, it's where it's at. They're fucking killing it. This whole arc has been phenomenal, and I can't wait to see the future. But, moving off of that, let's take a water break. I've been talking for 20 minutes already without no breaks, people. Let's take a water break. Dragon Ball Super, man. I'm telling you, people need a. I feel like when you have a rage and an anger towards something, you should channel it to the right source, which is toy animation. That like I always find it funny how people get so angry at like Toriyama or like whoever the hell like they're at fault. It's like be mad at the animation studio who's developing the program. That's all I can really say about that. I'm just saying, but at this point in time, I have no real qualms. Granted, yes. Have they made major mistakes? Sure. Have they hired some stupid ass people to run their fucking major franchise slash series? Sure, they did. They fucked up. They really freaking did. However, this Choppa arc is awesome. I'm telling you, and I can't wait to see what the next arc is. I'm really, to be honest, I'm really interested, but I'm also kind of scared because the thing that I want is a good arc that's compelling for all fans, but at the same time, maybe something that's a little deeper. You know, I don't really want to see, oh, it's another tournament, you know, oh, it's another, you know, this or that. I want to see something that's a little deeper. So maybe this whole rumor of future Trunks coming back or this new Saiyan threat or alien threat could help that factor because, I don't know, I feel like if we just, you know, have a little couple of filler episodes next and then we go right into like this Universe 12 tournament thing, I don't think it'll be that interesting of an episode or saga or, you know, anything. It's just, I don't know. I feel like we just need something a little bit more dramatic. I want something that's a little bit more dramatic. Dragon Ball Super has been very comedic as of late, and it's been very fantastical and adventurous, which is, you know, Dragon Ball's bread and butter, but I don't know. I feel like they should start taking some more elements of what Toriyama did in Z. You know, start having a little bit more drama, a little bit more darker elements into what they're doing. And, you know, I want to see some graphic stuff to go down. I mean, like, what happened to the graphics, you know, of freaking Z that has no incorporation of Super? You know, it's just a kid's playground at this point in time. I don't want to see a kid's playground. I'm a grown adult. I want to see some crazy shit go down. I want to see someone's arm get pulled off and some blood to come out, you know? It's just insanity. But, we'll see what happens. And also, I really want to see some more family moments. I really do. I want to see Goku have some more family moments with Chi-Chi, Goten, and Gohan. People hate it. I know they do. Everyone who's denying it right now, don't lie to me. You know you hate the Goku, Chi-Chi family moments as much as the next person. I don't. And I love it every time I see it because it's awesome. And I love Goku as a character, as I've made perfectly clear multiple times prior, but I also love it even more because of how much it infuriates and pisses off other people. People hate that shit, and I love it for those reasons. So I really can't wait to see what happens with these upcoming filler episodes. But, yeah, moving on to the Super anime, the manga, however, has been also pretty phenomenal. Chapter 10, 11 are the current chapters that have been released to the public, and yeah, chapter 10, real big debacle, wasn't a big fan of it. Piccolo was a calamity amongst calamities. I stated this in my review, he's basically the token black guy of the Dragon Ball universe at this point. He's just there for comedic relief, and he's been like that ever since the end of the Cell arc, and up to now, and I think that's just horrifyingly disrespectful. But it is what it is. I guess we're just going to have to wait. Once again, it's these upcoming sagas, these upcoming arcs. Are we going to get characters that have been sucking to be relevant again? You know, because I feel like, and this could be my only fear, but I feel like the thing that's really depressing me about Super as of late, even though I've had a lot of fun and enjoyment, is that I feel like Super is heading towards a dark territory, which is the same problem GT had. GT had the problem of having these crazy stories and adventures out in space and what have you, collecting these new Dragon Balls and fighting these new characters and old characters and what have you. However, the bad thing that GT did was only have relevancy to one character. Everyone else was irrelevant towards only one character, and that was Goku. Goku, and even though he's my favorite character out of the series, you have to have relevancy throughout every character. Your whole cast has to be as relevant as the protagonist, and I feel like that's a problem that GT had, and Super is starting to incorporate, because the only characters that are relevant is Goku and Vegeta. And I think only the main reason as to why Vegeta has any relevancy, because at this point, which is Battle of Gods. Battle of Gods was so successful that since then they've made Vegeta more and more relevant in comparison to Goku, because of how successful and how much of a outcry by fans of Vegeta fans had on that movie. And ever since then onward, Vegeta's had more relevancy. I mean, like, does it make sense that Vegeta would be a Super Saiyan Blue? Does it make sense that Vegeta would be almost as strong as Goku? It doesn't make sense of any of these kind of things, that he would be training with Whis and Beerus when, he has no stake in the fight in comparison to Goku. Like, no, it doesn't. But you want to know why it does in the shows, in the movies? Is because fucking fangirls and fanboys loved the Vegeta Bulma moments in Battle of Gods. They loved it so much. They loved the bingo dance. They loved all that shit and wanted more. So they incorporated that into Resurrection F. They gave Vegeta and Bulma an entirely new look. They gave, them the spotlight. Then they move over to Super. They have tons of amazing filler moments that make every freaking fan go crazy. So... And that's cool, but do that for everybody. Do that for everybody. Everyone is great in their own way. Krillin is an awesome character. He's amazing. Tien Shenhan is awesome. Chaozu, I don't think he said a word in fucking years. I don't know. I haven't heard Chaozu say anything. Yamcha, hasn't been relevant since the Saiyan arc. That's a long fucking time ago. Fucking Master Roshi, kudos for what they did to Resurrection F. Kudos. Piccolo, he needs some redemption. Gohan definitely needs some redemption. Considering he was the promised child, he was the prodigal son. He was supposed to be something, and, they fucked it up. So, I don't know. It is what it is. Hopefully with these new sagas and arcs, they do something, not only in the anime, but of course in the manga as well. And I really hope Toriyama and Toritaro, really work out some interesting stuff in the future, because what they've been doing with the rest of the cast, other than just Goku and Vegeta, has been very horrifying as a fan. So, it is what it is. I'm not complaining too harshly, because I have been enjoying myself and I've been very much entertained. I mean, Dragon Ball Super, the manga, and the anime has been one of my favorite things of 2016 so far. So it is what it is, but I don't know. I just hope they really amp up the creativity with not only the stories that they're about to tell, but also how they incorporate the characters within those stories. So we'll see what happens with that front. The manga itself is really great. The volumes are out for buying. I actually picked up the volume already. I've done an unboxing and review on my channel, so if you haven't seen it, please go check it out. Shameless plug time on that. And I freaking love it. I love it. I look at it every freaking day. I take out the dust cover, and I look at it, and I smell the pages like if it's a new toy. Remember that when you were a kid and you buy an action figure and you open it up and you smell the new toy? It's kind of like the new car smell, but better. That's what the Dragon Ball Super manga smells like in person. It's fucking phenomenal. So I suggest fucking getting it, because it's so freaking great. I freaking cheered like a little schoolgirl fucking for an entire week since I got it. It's freaking awesome. I love it. There's a lot of really cool things in there. I don't understand any of it because I'm not Japanese. I don't speak Japanese, and I don't intend on learning anything of a language that's not English. However, it's freaking phenomenal, and I love it. And I'll probably end up getting the English version as well, because it's so great. But with that being said, definitely buy it. Definitely go check it out. If you have any kind of real access to getting Dragon Ball Super Manga Volume 1, I suggest and recommend getting it. It is pretty phenomenal. But with all that being said, let's get into some other interesting topics that are Dragon Ball related, but going towards the live action side of things. Of course, Dragon Ball Z, or Dragon Ball in general, has had a live action adaptation towards it. And that is, of course, Dragon Ball Evolution. This is a topic that's come out pretty recently, in the last day or so, couple of days, which is Dragon Ball Evolution writer coming out in an interview basically apologizing for his terrible script of Dragon Ball Evolution, the live-action Dragon Ball film. For me personally, when I read this for the first time, when I heard his comments and really dissected them, I really was happy that he had at least the decency to admit that he wrote a shit pile. But then again, I started to think, like, should anybody really be sad about what he had to say? Now, first off, you had Dragon Ball writer slash fan writer, if you will, Derek Padula. I think that's how you say his name. He's a pretty good dude. He fucking writes a whole bunch of Dragon Ball books and what have you. He's actually commented on my reviews. Well, not on my reviews, but when I was reviewing Dragon Ball live action projects like Robot Underdogs, Light of Hope. He actually commented on my personal thoughts on the project and the episode. He's a really good dude. He understands Dragon Ball. He likes Dragon Ball. He's a good writer. He's a really good writer. And he, I guess, interviewed Ben Ramsey, who was the writer of Dragon Ball Evolution, and got some comments out of him about how he felt reflecting on the project and how he got into it, how he wrote it, how he left the project, his personal thoughts on it now after it being so many years prior. And I don't know where to go from here with it, because I don't really care that he, I guess, feels bad in any kind of way, because, you know, at the end of the day, Ben Ramsey, I never cared about the guy even prior to Dragon Ball Evolution. He's wrote movies before, but none of them really, they're not my cup of tea. So when he was hired to do Dragon Ball Evolution, or the live-action Dragon Ball movie, as it was at that point, before they retitled it Dragon Ball Evolution, I gave two shits about the guy. I didn't really care. I really thought he was a bad choice to write the movie. The same way I felt like James Wong, the director of Dragon Ball Evolution, was a bad choice for directing Dragon Ball, because he is a horror guy. He directed horror movies. He's never really done anything of interest that will compel me or any other Dragon Ball fan that, oh yeah, he can do that. He can direct this. No, he can't. What did he do? He did fucking horror movies. He's a horror guy. You know, he's done some action stuff here, some sci-fi stuff here, but everything he's done did not prepare him for something like a Dragon Ball live action movie. And Dragon Ball Evolution is just one of those sad stories of so much promise and not living up to that promise. You know, Dragon Ball Evolution was supposed to be a good start off into live action anime. I mean, like, if it was a good movie, we could have had so many new interesting badass movies, not only based around Dragon Ball, maybe even Dragon Ball Z, but of course, all anime movies, you know, anime properties, anime IPs. We could have had so much cool stuff to come out post Dragon Ball Evolution that just did not happen because of this shitty ass script and this shitty ass direction and this shitty ass cast and performances and this shitty ass special effects and what have you. So I do have to give Derek major props for doing this, because I know I could never be serious with the guy because I've thought about this before too, because I had the mindset of one day doing a Dragon Ball not Evolution, but a Dragon Ball series documentary documenting the history of Dragon Ball into an actual legit film documentary. I really wanted to do that at some point. I don't know if I care enough to really do it now because of the lack of resources and money. Regardless, I had this funny thought of one day interviewing the people behind Dragon Ball Evolution, like James and maybe even Justin Chatwin and Emmy Rossum and Ben Ramsey and everyone at 20th Century Fox to get their thoughts on like the first rendition of live action Dragon Ball. I really wanted to interview them and just give them so much shit and hate because of how much they just destroyed my childhood and basically ruined possibly one of the most, you know, awesome properties that ever could have been a live action movie that just failed on its face right out of the gate. I mean, how do you not shit on the guy? So I give Derek huge props for at least doing it very professional, because I know I couldn't. If I had Ben Ramsey near me, I wouldn't hit. I don't want to make it sound like I'm going to attack these people physically or I want them dead. No, that's not the way to go with these kind of attacks. But if you're going to fucking attack a guy for shit work, you do it in a fun way. So I wanted to just shit on them in a good, funny way, which obviously would never happen, but I would have done it just to be an asshole. So I give Derek, once again, huge kudos for being professional about it. But hearing overall Ben Ramsey's thoughts on it, I definitely would give him also some kudos for being, at least having the decency to, approve of fans' opinions on his work, on what he put into the movie. But not only that, the overall idea of like how much shit, he got, and also just how his thought process was going into the project and how he feels about it post so many years of when the movie first came out and was processed and made. And it was very interesting. It was really good to have an interesting inside look, if you will, at the process of making these big movies and how a huge failure could affect someone's professional life and personal life. So it was really good that Derek really got his interview in. And Ben Ramsey's thoughts and opinions, I really am intrigued by them. I say huge kudos for him admitting that he wrote a steaming pile. And I really hope that maybe Derek, I wonder, did Derek get some more interviews? Did he have some more, stuff to talk about? Well, some asshole rides his motorcycle, making so much noise. That's the thing I want to know. That's what I want to know. I really want to know how many other people had some interviews with some, because I've heard some other people too have talked about Dragon Ball Evolution. I've heard, James Marsters, not Justin Chatwin, but James Marsters, I've heard him kind of discuss, his kind of thing and, his personal opinions. And I don't really hate James Marsters for it. I think he's obviously the best part of Evolution. Other than that, everyone else was kind of just all over the place. And the movie itself falls on its fucking face. However, god damn, what I really want to hear Justin Chatwin and, James Wong's fucking opinions. I really freaking do. I really hope one day we get some good interviews based off their opinions on this. Overall, Ben Ramsey, I don't hate him. I don't despise him. I don't want him dead. I just want to shit on him for like a good hour one day in person. And then just tell him straight up, you fucked up, and move on. There, that's it. You just move on. He fucked up. He made a shit move. He wrote shit movie. And I didn't care for him before, and I don't care about him especially after. So that's pretty much all I can really say. I say go check out Derek's work, his website, his writings, his interviews. Check it out. I personally enjoyed the fact that he got this done. And I give him huge kudos for being professional about it, because I know I couldn't fucking do it. I would just shit on everyone who was involved and just say, you fucked up, you suck, you deserve a punch in the face, and fuck off. That's all I really can say about that. Ben Ramsey, it's very interesting to get his opinions on how he was going in for money. He was very disappointed with the way, the film came out and how fans reacted to it, even though he agreed, and how, saddened he felt about, how fans were really disappointed in how he kind of feels about like when he watches movies and they don't live up to the source material, what have you. So there's a whole bunch of interesting things in this interview. I personally, it is what it is. He fucked up. That's all that's all we can really do. That's all we can really say about it. He fucked up. That's it. Alright. Well, with that being said, let's try and use this horrifyingly interesting interview of live-action Dragon Ball and try and transition that into the next topic, which is live-action anime. And of course, we're here to talk about a little bit of Ghost in the Shell, a little bit of Pokemon, a little bit of everything in between. And let's start off with the Ghost in the Shell debacle. Of course, a couple weeks ago, the first image of Scarlett Johansson as the Major in the live-action Ghost in the Shell film, which will be coming out in 2017, was officially released with the press release, the official cast, everyone involved with the production and project, and people went crazy. No one fucking liked it. Everyone hated it, shitted on it. I got shit on it. I got so much shit. It's not even funny. It's fucking insanity how much shit that was thrown around over the overall debacle that is this Ghost in the Shell film. For me, I have no qualms with it. The source material is the source material. It's always going to be superior. We get it. We fucking get it. But here's the thing. I feel like it's good to go into these projects with some form of optimism. Because if you go into something willing and just knowing it's going to suck, then there's never going to be a future. There's never going to be a future with these things. Because I'm not only thinking short term, I'm also thinking long term with these kind of projects. So what I want is for these live action anime films, properties, projects, whatever, to come out and be good. I also have my own personal feelings towards them, but I do have this form of optimism when discussing them publicly when it happens, because I want them to come out good. I want them to be well-made films and serve the source material justice, and the fans, the fan base, and the moviegoers, and the general audience. I want them to have been served justice so we can move on from that, so I can selfishly get what I want, which is live-action Dragon Ball Cinematic Universe. I've talked about this recently, so sorry if I'm laughing about it, but that's my selfish greed towards my goal. That's the goal. So if we get that, I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it. Scarlett Johansson being cast in this movie is not the worst thing ever. Granted, it's a huge debacle with all, live-action properties and movies, but then again, it makes you think, like, okay, if people were pissed off about this, why aren't they pissed off with every other movie? Why aren't they pissed off with even the movies that are made in Japan? Like the Attack on Titan movie, why is everyone Japanese? Not everyone needs to be Japanese in that movie, and they're making multiple sequels, whatever. It is what it is. So why is it okay to do the American version, which is to have all white people, and have the Japanese version to have it all be Asian people, and not mix and match the way the source material is drawn or animated? Why isn't that being done? There's a huge calamity going on between two regions that are not interconnecting like they should be for great films. Ghost in the Shell should have variant fucking, ethnicities playing this project. But the core should be Asian. It should have Eastern actors and actresses. Same thing about the things that are going over there. The Attack on Titan movie, as an example, as a simplistic example, you have one Asian character, then you have a whole bunch of German and European white characters. Why is everyone Asian and changed to fit your region? Why? Why is that? It just doesn't make any sense to me. So if we're going to bitch talk the way the Hollywood system's working with these movies, why can't we shit talk the Eastern regions? The fucking... It's just so stupid and aggravating, and it's a film mindset. It's a film system mindset. It's an old businessy, old man in a suit fucking swinging out billion-dollar bills, fucking shitting on specific ethnicities and groups of people not getting the job that they deserve. And it's a serious problem. The whitewashing thing's been a very serious problem. It's a very fucked up thing that I know a lot of people feel very outspoken and pissed off about. For me, when I say what I said, when I fucking made that video, I was optimistic because I understand what's happening behind the scenes. I understand what's going on. And it's way better the way it is going now in comparison to what it could have been prior. Because there were reports coming about how they were going to CGI Scarlett Johansson or CGI Asian people. They were going to fucking visually create CGI Asian people and make Scarlett Johansson Asian. Like, how much more fucked up and shitty is that to do to a group of fucking human beings in comparison to what they're doing now? Which is a little bit more optimistic, and you don't know what the final product's gonna be, because you don't know what region they're gonna try and play it for. Like, it's kind of like the Godzilla debacle, which is, Toho makes movies every fucking decade of Godzilla films, and they're always based in their region. They never really cross over to the States. However, the States have created their own region of Godzilla movies. Look at the latest Godzilla movie. It's set in specifically the U.S. It has nothing to do with the Eastern region. It has nothing to do with Japan. It has nothing to do with Tokyo. It has nothing to do with that. Nothing. So when a movie's specifically based in a specific region, is it okay to make the ethnicities of characters a specific ethnicity just to serve that ethnicity when it's not even the right region? Or you can fuck up. like maybe DreamWorks and Paramount Pictures are. I mean, granted, maybe it is set in a specific Eastern region and they have white people doing it. That's fucked up. It's kind of like the Death Note shit, where Death Note have a white guy. They have Nat Wolff who's playing Light Yagami. And sure, we don't know how that project's going. Maybe it's in the can for all we know. Maybe. We haven't really heard that much reports out of it because there's not really that much of an interest that's, developing traction with the fan base besides assholes like me. So, okay, sure. But here's the problem when you come into this debacle, which is the character is Japanese. He's Asian. He lives in fucking Tokyo, Japan, if I'm not mistaken. I know he lives in Japan, so if he lives in Japan, he should be Japanese. Nat Wolff is obviously not Japanese. He's a fucking white guy. He's supposed to play a character that's born and raised and lives in Japan, yet he's white. It's kind of like the Emma Stone thing in fucking Aloha. And this consistently happens in Hollywood, in the Hollywood system, the film mindset system, and it's fucked up. I don't like it. Just because I'm optimistic on a fucking video doesn't mean I'm okay with this shit. Don't get my words twisted and try to... I mean, granted, I'm rambling at this point in time. I can't help it. I mean, it's a difficult process for me because everything I'm discussing, I've already discussed. So, and not only just in the previous episode of the Super Kaioken podcast that never got uploaded, but with the podcast. I've discussed this on the podcast about my disdain for what's going on in the fan base, but also the movie community, if you will, and the anime community. It's a huge pain in the ass, and it's an ordeal, which is why I haven't made subsequent videos discussing this controversy. I haven't discussed it because of how outrageous the topics really made people become. And, I've come to I've come with this sort of peace with the fact that Scarlett Johansson, look, she's a great actress. She's beautiful. She's, 99% the reason why this movie has a budget. She's the main reason this movie is going to have any traction. She's the main reason this movie will make any money. A significant profit at best. And the main reason that this will have any investors and producers invest any kind of fucking money into it. So, I can't qualm her like other people are doing. Like, sure, would I love to have some super beautiful, amazing actress, Asian, woman play that character? Sure, I fucking would. Just because I'm optimistic over Scarlett Johansson has nothing to do with that. But, and it's also sad, like, because the day Scarlett Johansson was cast in that movie, the day, like, another 100 Asian actresses lost a job that they deserve more. Like, Scarlett Johansson doesn't need Ghost in the Shell movie. She has fucking Marvel. She's fucking in bed with Marvel. She can work the rest of her life, especially considering the rumor mill, if you will, that's been going around about, like, oh, there's plans of making a solo Black Widow movie and all that kind of craziness. So, she's okay. She's okay. There's no real major things that are going to go down with her. Professional and financially. Financially, she's stoked. She's okay. But I can see DreamWorks' problem here. I can understand their deal. So I don't want anyone to think I'm backpedaling or to think that I'm okay with whitewashing and I'm okay with my white world, my white, movie Hollywood world. Like, I'm not even fucking white. I'm fucking Hispanic. So why would I want more Hispanics in fucking movies? Why do you think I'm so happy about Rogue One? Because there's fucking, another white girl playing the fucking lead of a movie? No, because I want to see some Hispanics more in the fucking movies. The Force Awakens, the main reason as to why I love The Force Awakens so much is because of Oscar Isaacs. The guy was fucking phenomenal. He was the shit. I can't wait to see Diego Luna fucking kill it as well in Rogue One. Are you fucking kidding me? You really think I want to give a shit about Forrest Whitaker and fucking Star Wars? No! No, I don't care. I don't. So, I don't like that idea of people trying to twist my words and try to make some kind of weird conversation statement, if you will, conservative statement. Not conservative, that's not even the right word I'm trying to use, but like just this stupid fucking way of thinking of like, I'm okay with this shit. I'm not okay with it, I'm just optimistic because I'm not thinking short term, I'm thinking long term. Because let's play the devil's advocate. Let's say it fucking comes out and it's okay. It's okay. It's a good movie. It's alright. At best, it makes a good profit, so they make maybe a sequel and it sucks, but okay, sure. They fucking did it. They made a Ghost in the Shell live action movie, the first attempt ever over here in the States. And then, 5 years later, the rights browse around for a while. Someone else comes up, makes their movie, who's a hardcore fan of the source material, and makes a good fucking movie. Freaking Creed style. They fucking make a movie that were fans, and they fucking destroy. And they put Asian actors right where they fucking need to be, which is at the lead, the core. But the problem is, we're not at that point yet. We're not 5 years or 10 years down the line where we're at that point where you can reboot a franchise and have perfectly casted actors and actresses who are of a specific region and or ethnicity that serves the source material and fan base. We're not at that point yet. We're at the point where we still need the white Chris Evans to white Scarlett Johansson to save the movie to make big money at the box office. We still fucking need that. And that's sad, but it's the truth. It's the fucking truth, and I can't deny it, so that's why I'm fucking optimistic. And of course, at the end of the day, look, if Ghost in the Shell live action movie fails, that's sad and it sucks, but it's not gonna kill me inside. Like, it's not gonna, I lived through Dragon Ball Evolution. Like, of course I don't care anymore. Like, who cares? I'm just selfishly waiting until they, the rights go around and someone buys it out and fucking actually makes a good movie that serves my purpose of living in life. That's all I fucking care about at this point in time. Who fucking cares anymore? Dragon Ball Evolution killed me inside. I'm dead. I've been dead for fucking, almost a decade after that movie came out? Who gives a shit anymore? So, that's where I'm coming from with this whole, debacle. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. Ghost in the Shell live action movie, people can hate on it all they want and go ahead, but it is what it is. But moving off of that, it's still going to be made, so we'll just have to wait and see. Hopefully it's just a good movie. That's all we can really hope for. No one likes the cast, so hopefully it's a good movie that has some interesting visuals. So, anyways, moving off of that, let's get into some other live action stuff that are, obviously going around at this point in time, which obviously has a lot to do with anime. And the live action side of things has really been snowballing at this point. I think a lot has to do because of the Ghost in the Shell debacle. But Pokemon. Pokemon is a property IP that previously has had some major tractions. I don't know if anybody has bought the rights yet. However, there was some big studios like Sony, Warner Brothers, Legendary, and a whole bunch of other real crazy things trying to go at it to buy the rights to live action Pokemon. So there's a Pokemon movie that's definitely in the works that's possibly going to be made. For me, I fucking hate that idea. I don't like the fact that they're trying to make a Pokemon movie. I don't care about a live action Pokemon movie. People are stoked for this. I don't understand why. Sure, could it have some amazing visuals? Maybe it could. But I personally don't give a shit about this so-called live-action Pokemon movie that's possibly in the works. Granted, people could. They love the video games. Kids still collect the cards. It's still out there. The fan base is still out there. Pokemon's still popular. But at the end of the day, the fact that no other really good anime or manga storyline that's far superior to Pokemon has not succeeded until you had to fucking make a movie about some bastard kid go around the world by himself collecting and basically enslaving these powerful superhuman animals. Really depresses me. I talked about this with Paul on the podcast, which is it just kills me inside and it saddens me that we're going to get a Pokemon movie that's probably going to make way more money and make way more critical amazing reviews in comparison to the movies we've had prior that are far superior properties than Pokemon, and we still have not gotten a Sailor Moon movie. I want a Sailor Moon movie before we get a fucking Pokemon movie. Fuck Pokemon. Go play the video games on your Nintendo, you bastard kids. I want to see a Sailor Moon movie. Who else wants a Sailor Moon movie? I can see hopefully a shit ton of people wanting it because Sailor Moon is the shit. It's fucking awesome. How can you not want that? But we're gonna get a Pokemon movie. We're gonna see Ash Ketchum jump around with Team Rocket up their ass trying to get Pikachu for the billionth time. Sure, let's make a movie on that. No, make like a TV movie on that. Don't fucking waste shit tons of big ass studio budgets, fucking hundreds of millions of dollars just to make a live action Pikachu that's probably gonna be CGI'd. Fuck that. I don't like. No offense to the fans, but I just don't care about this. However, there is something I do care. Segueing into some other really cool stuff, live action anime wise, Full Metal Alchemist. Full Metal Alchemist is possibly getting some live action treatment soon, and I can't wait for that shit. Once again, trying to be optimistic here, like a fan should be, hopefully. I want to see that live action Full Metal Alchemist. Granted, I've heard some qualms and rants about people who are not psyched on this idea. I can understand why. Full Metal Alchemist is a very compelling, dramatic, awesome story and series that has a lot of information into it, so it's going to be difficult to get several movies, or at least a movie, done to have any kind of interest in it. So I can get that. However, here's my thought process on it, and my opinion, or at least my idea of what could happen. Live action TV series. Tell me it wouldn't be badass that we got a freaking live action TV series of Full Metal Alchemist. Now that's the shit. That's what I want to freaking see. I've talked about this before. I feel like live action animes on TVs would be pretty badass. Like Death Note, I think would make out as an amazing Netflix series. Dragon Ball, I think would be awesome on TV. There's just so many freaking awesome series that you can do on TV. The Black Lagoon would be awesome on TV. There's just so many freaking awesome stories and mangas and animes that you could do on TV. And I feel like Full Metal Alchemist could be that as well. I mean, Full Metal Alchemist, I didn't really think about this up until the news came out about it getting this sort of treatment, which is it should be a TV series. Give it like a good 3 seasons of Full Metal Alchemist, maybe 2, depending on like how you want to elongate your series, but make like a 2 to 3 season show and just knock it out of the park. Just fucking make every episode like an hour long, just going into the adventures of the Elric brothers trying to save their mom. You'll have such a compelling story. That's the way to go. That's the way to go, and I feel like that's the perfect way to execute this property in live action. Full Metal Alchemist as a movie, sure, maybe it could be good, who knows? Maybe if it's successful, it makes the money back and even more of a good profit. They can hopefully make a sequel to continue and further the story, who knows? But at its core, I feel like live action TV would be the way to go. But with that being said, I've rambled way too long. I'm sorry if this whole episode was just one gigantic ramble. I've just, I've been so really wacky at this point in time, and it's already so late in the day, and on top of all this, I've already done this episode. It's very difficult to try and rehash everything I've stated in a previous episode, and again, it's very difficult for me. With the exception, of course, the Dragon Ball Evolution topic. That's probably the only topic that's actually recent that really makes me want to talk about it in depth. But overall, that's pretty much all I can really talk about in this episode. I don't want to talk about anything too long, seeing as how we're already at the hour mark of this podcast. So let's just get right into some comments. Let's get into the comment section of the Super Kaioken, and let's start it off with a Dragon Ball Super unboxing manga video comments. First off, awesome, thanks for this review, looking forward to receiving mine in the mail. That pic of Vegeta and Porunga is legit. Well, sir, I can't name your freaking YouTube name handle, so I'm just going to say kudos. Yes, I definitely recommend, I've stated this prior, I definitely recommend picking up the Dragon Ball Super manga. It's freaking phenomenal. So, yeah, I can't wait for you to get it as well, and hopefully you enjoyed it as much as I do. So, moving off of that, same video, different comment. I can't wait for the English version. Well, once again, I stated this, it's freaking phenomenal, get it as is, but yeah, I can't wait for the English version as well. I'm probably going to buy, once Viz Media or whoever does the English translations for the Dragon Ball Super mangas, I'm going to fucking buy it as well. I don't really care, I just need that shit. So, anyways, moving off of that, on my Gine video, who cares about Raditz? He's weak. In parentheses, hair looks epic, by the way, and that's only thing good about Raditz. Well, Lux, yeah, well, Raditz Raditz isn't really that relevant of a character. He's just supposed to further the story, and of course, he was the incorporation of the whole alien element to Goku's storyline in the Dragon Ball series. So he does have some relevancy, but yeah, in the long run, yeah, Raditz is kind of a whatever character. Moving off that, on my future of DBZ live action video, which really kickstarted this whole live action, interest and debacle for me. Which was the first video I really did on this. If the Ghost in the Shell movie actually makes money and the anime community comes out swinging to shit on every change Hollywood made from the source material, there's a strong possibility Fox would decide to use the DB rights again and cause it to make another anime movie. Just don't make that much money in America. Okay, well, as I stated multiple times, and on the podcast, and in my previous episode, I selfishly want that to happen, sir. Yes, I do. Ghost in the Shell can suck a big bag of you-know-whats. But if it makes a lot of money, and it makes a lot of Hollywood studios want to buy out some rights for some anime and manga, and it gets the right studio with the right director and creative team to make a Dragon Ball movie again, that's hopefully fucking superior to that last hunk of fucking shit that was made by Ben Ramsey and James Wong, I fucking say yes, sir. Yes, I want that to happen. I selfishly want that to happen every day that I'm alive. So, yeah. Anyways, moving off of that, Dragon Ball Super review comment. Dragon Ball Super is a letdown, bro. Dragon Ball always expanded greatly on having new villains, but having to see Frieza cry and whine and seeing all these episodes before we get new content in bad animation, mind you, just isn't what we really wanted from Return of Dragon Ball Z. Well, yes, I will agree with you. I've stated this with my Dragon Ball Super topic in this podcast. I feel like, look, Battle of Gods and Resurrection F was a major letdown. It was not, the way to go. Toy Animation definitely dropped the ball. They did it. They dropped the ball. But just check out the Universe 6 Saga. Definitely check out the Universe 6 Saga and onward, because that's where it's at. I'm telling you. It's freaking phenomenal. Or just read the manga. Read the manga. I mean, Toritaro and Toriyama's work on the manga is the best thing ever. So, yeah, check it out. Moving off of that, more Dragon Ball Super review comments, and this one's from Nahum Dyer, who you call yourself the Knight now. Kudos for that name change. This episode wasn't as good as last week's episode, obviously, but I like the comedic factor of this latest episode, though. I hate the most that most of victories in that tournament arc resulted in ring-outs, which I hate ring-outs, and I hate that Goku eliminated himself. I look forward to next week's episode. Well, yes, I do agree that the ring out, just the way characters won in the tournament was very lame. Once again, as I stated with my super topic, I just hope for future sagas and arcs to really have more compelling stories. I just don't want to see more tournament sagas. Like, if I know they're going to do this 12 Universes tournament with the King of Kings or whatever the fuck, the Omni King. I know they plan on doing that, but save that for, like, the finale season of Super. Like, I don't really need to see that now, because it's kind of like the Resurrection F Saga. Like, the Resurrection F Saga came out right after the movie came out, and it's like, yeah, we don't need to see Frieza again. We're done with Frieza. He was great for what he was at the time, not anymore. Toei Animation, stop it. And then they brought him back again for Frost, so it's like, yeah, I'm pretty sure they're going to do it again, where it's like, hey, you like this tournament? Well, here's another. So, yeah, it is what it is, but we can only, I guess, cross our fingers and pray that they do something that's a little bit more dramatic. Moving off of that, on my Ghost in the Shell video, Hollywood's profit motive is based on racism. If you can't see it, you're fucking blind. Enjoy your white Hollywood. Well, once again, I don't want a white Hollywood. I'm fucking Hispanic. I want to see more Hispanics, you douche. Come on. Like, let's be real here. Like, racism, sure. Is it based on racism? Sure. Everything, but then again, Hollywood, they're going for the money. They don't give a shit about people's feelings. They're doing things for the money. You want to know why? Because they know they can make the money back if they have Scarlett Johansson as the lead. They know that. So, I'm not fucking blind. I know what's happening. I'm just going with the flow. I'm just going with the flow. That's the best way I can put it. I'm going with the flow. I'm just waiting it out. If it comes out and it's good, then it's good. If it comes out and it's a steaming pile like Dragon Ball Evolution, then we'll shit on it till the cows come home or whatever the fuck that shitty fucking rendition chime is. But at this point in time, we just don't know. So we'll see what happens. Moving off of that, Team 4-Star Dragon Ball reaction video. Future Trunks got all of Vegeta badassness and power without the space station sized ego. Yes, Trunks did. Trunks, that's what people. Future Trunks. That's where it's at. I'm telling you. Future Trunks is the shit. Bring him back. Please, Toriyama. Bring back Future Trunks. Start a petition, please. Moving off of that. Goku versus Superman rant. Can't wait to see what that comment. I feel you, bro. Well, thanks. Anyways, Yusuke. My who would win battle. This is going to be a cartoon fight club. Well, you know what? Thinking about that, my who would win battles, I haven't done one in freaking forever. I know I have Wave 3 coming up. I think that's most likely going to come out later in the year, so. But yeah, it's definitely a cartoon fight club, if you will. Let's see. More Ghost in the Shell comments. You wanted more sexual? I hope you don't come back complaining on the casting later, and a new twist isn't necessarily bad. Arise was a bit too much into recycling the movies and standalone complex. A new original intelligent twist is probably the best thing that could happen to Ghost in the Shell. Well, I already commented on this guy's comments, and all I can really say at this point in time is check out the comments. But at the end of the day, look. The major is sexual. She's freaking naked majority of the time. How do you not have Scarlett Johansson, one of the most beautiful actresses in Hollywood working today, and not have her in some kind of sexual pose? Like, are you fucking insane? So, moving off of that, more Goku versus Superman rant comments. Screw Attack also did their own dubbing of edited scenes of the actual anime to make their fight look canon. But it really wasn't. King Kai did not say Superman will always be stronger than Goku. Screw Attack said that using a drawing of King Kai. Well, thank you, Jonathan. Hey, you have my same name. Thank you for commenting, but I don't care. Like, that's irrelevant to me. Like, Screw Attack using and editing, scenes from the anime of Dragon Ball Z into their... And that was in the first fight. This is the second fight that you're commenting on, so I hope you keep that in mind. But overall... Yeah, they use that, but who cares? I know it's not canon. Anybody who thinks it's canon, you're stupid, but look, it's okay. They used it for comedic purposes. And I guess, yeah, they also did it for the rematch as well. If I'm not mistaken, it's been a very freaking long time since I've seen the Screw Attack videos, so forgive me for, I guess, bashing you for a second there, but yeah, it is what it is. They used it, so what? So what? Who cares? The videos still suck. I still don't agree with Screw Attack. I still don't... I like the idea that they're trying to get towards. So, just because they did that doesn't mean anything. So, moving off of that, Bardock comments. Bardock was never the original Super Saiyan or Super Saiyan God, and no, not because the movie wasn't canon. Hell, even if that was canon, he still wouldn't be the Super Saiyan or Super Saiyan God. That's because Dragon Ball runs on the multiverse theory, meaning that even when Bardock went to the past to change the future, it would have no effect on the future he came from. This is the same exact thing Trunks does in the Android Saga. That's why the androids in Cell were still there in his future after he beat the ones from the past. Well, that is true. Dragon Ball does run on a very specific multiverse. It's kind of like Days of Future Past X-Men, the comic book versus the movie. Like in the movie, when you change the past, the future's fixed. Like Back to the Future style. But in the comics, you change the past, nothing happens to the future. The future is still the way it was. Same thing with Dragon Ball. Trunks goes back in time, fixes the past, his future still sucks. But because of how powerful he's become, he uses his teachings and his new power to save his future from complete damnation and genocide. So, yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, Bardock, even if he did go back in time and if it was canon, it still would have no effect. I completely agree with you. Moving off that, on my Broly Second Coming review, Gohan was regular Super Saiyan and Super Saiyan 2 form, the fight would be different. It was a weird movie, but well animated, and Videl should have almost died, at least from the first attack of Broly. The power is too great. She just knows how to fly in power. She is not even a Yamcha. Well, at least she's a chick. Come on, give her that. At least she's the first female Super Saiyan in history. Give her that at least. Come on. I mean, like, she's not even a Yamcha. Come on. Yamcha, I mean, no offense to Yamcha, but he can't get shit done. Videl got a lot shit done. She married Gohan, had a kid. She became the first Super Saiyan in history, and she kicked Broly's ass, kinda, for like a split second. And she did a lot of other cool stuff in the movies and in the show, so come on. I don't know. Videl's awesome. I do feel like when you go back to your first statement with the whole Gohan thing, because it is a debacle that people speculate on, which is, was Gohan Super Saiyan 2 or was he just regular Super Saiyan in that Broly movie? For me, I just guess it's an animation problem, because Gohan does have the ability to go to Super Saiyan at that time. That's pre, Buu arc, where he becomes Ultimate Gohan, so all he knows is Super Saiyan 2. So I'm guessing it's mostly just an animation problem. Maybe they just forgot to be like, hey, should we add some electricity here? Save that money for the next movie? Okay. I'm guessing that's what happened. So, anyways, moving off of that, top 5 Goku fights video. These are definitely the best fights Goku has had in DBZ, hands down. Well, sure, yeah, that's why I put him in the top 5. But yeah, thanks for the comment. I definitely like the fights that Goku has in Z, and I just wanted to, just give my personal thoughts on them. So that's pretty much all I really wanted to do with that freaking video. But with that being said, my voice is starting to go out, so I'm going to try and end this with one last comment. I still have shit tons of Ghost in the Shell comments out there that are crazy as hell, so let's try and get into this. Last 2, maybe, let's see, should I put at least 3 more in there? Okay, let's try and get like 3 more comments, and that's maybe like 4. Okay, 4 last comments, let's get into it. Vegeta Great Ape, Galagun, oh shit, I accidentally destroyed the planet, shit again. Okay, well, thanks for commenting on my Great Ape versus Attack on Titan video. Yes, I get it. It was a stupid idea, but I wanted to do it. Moving off of that, Ghost in the Shell comments. Whitewashing, it's hell of a drug. Yes, it is, sir. Moving off of that. Whitewashing, white. LMFAO, it's okay, Flop City bitches. Well, I don't know if you're trying to offend me, but once again, I don't know what to say to you. I've already said everything I could state about it. I don't like the idea. I'm not trying to say it's okay to be white. Stop it. Stop trying to give me shit on it. I'm not making the movie. Moving off that, come on, dude. You are really going to dance around the shameless whitewashing? Okay, this is by a YouTuber called Richard. Look, Richard, I comment towards you, and I did state I was going to make more videos on it. I'm sorry I didn't. I just really didn't have the time, and so much time did pass by. And at the end of the day, I got just so much kind of like hate comments that it really killed my enthusiasm to make a video, which is why I discussed it a little bit in this podcast, and of course on the podcast. So all I can really say is, look, you don't think it's fair. You don't like the idea that it's white white actresses and actors playing Asian actors character roles. I get that. I completely agree with you and everyone else who's pissed off at this. But look, we have to think long term as well as short term. One day these movies will be done the way they are and should be, not the way they're doing now. So we just have to wait and see. And plus, at the same time, it is a problem, but I'm trying to be optimistic. I hope you and other people out there who are pissed at me for my opinion can understand that I'm just trying to be optimistic. And I'm also trying to be incredibly selfish and douchey, because all I really want is a Dragon Ball movie done again that's hopefully good, and I can, sleep happy at night, sleep better at night. As Master Roshi would say, to make my pathetic life a little bit brighter. So that's being said, I'm going to end this episode of the podcast. I hope you guys enjoyed. There was a lot of shit I really needed to get out there, and plus, I just needed to move this podcast forward because, if I wait too long, then I'm not going to record any episodes ever. So, I'm sorry for the increased rambling and just hectic style I recorded this episode, but I just wanted to go with the flow, kind of similar with the Ghost in the Shell movie. I'm just trying to go with the flow and see what happens. So, with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram at X12. Subscribe to my YouTube channel if you have not done so already. And of course, go to my channel to check out my recent Dragon Ball and anime videos discussing all things super, manga, and anime related. And of course, check out my video discussing the Ghost in the Shell video. I'll possibly talk about more live action stuff in the future, like other properties that may or may not be made, like Pokemon and Fullmetal Alchemist and Naruto and Death Note and Ghost in the Shell and so on and so forth. We'll just have to wait and see what happens with all these movies. And on that front, I hope you guys enjoyed. Comment below. Let me know what you personally think. This has been the Super Kaioken podcast, and I've been your host, X12.